Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, you picked the absolute best time to join us, because what we're about to talk about today is one of those moments that genuinely stopped the entire internet in its tracks. I mean it. If you were anywhere on social media in the last 24 hours, you already know. And if you somehow missed it, don't worry, because that is exactly why we're here right now. So before we get into everything, do me a favor real quick. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment like this again. Because trust me, this is the kind of content you want delivered straight to you the second it drops. Now let's get into it. ParkJimin, global ambassador of Dior, main vocalist and main dancer of BTS, the man who somehow manages to make every single public appearance feel like a historical event. And this week, he did it again. He packed his bags, flew from Korea to Paris, walked into one of the most beautiful and historically significant museums in all of France, sat down in the front row of the Dior Men's Spring-Summer 2027 show, and proceeded to remind the entire world exactly why his name has been synonymous with fashion, elegance, and star power for years. This is the full story. From the moment he was spotted at the airport in Seoul, all the way to the front row at the Musée Nissim de Commando in Paris. We're going through every single detail today, and you do not want to skip a single second of this. Let's start from the very beginning. June 23, 2026, Incheon International Airport, Seoul, South Korea. Now, for most people, going to an airport is just going to an airport. You show up, you check in, you grab a coffee, you board your flight. But when ParkJimin goes to an airport, it becomes a full moment. It becomes news. It becomes trending. And that is exactly what happened the moment he stepped out, and fans and cameras caught him heading to Paris. The first thing everyone noticed, and I mean the very first thing, was his hair. Jimin came through with a brand new hair color, and ARMY absolutely lost it online the second those photos and videos started circulating. Now we're not going to spoil exactly what shade it is if you haven't seen it yet, because the reaction needs to be experienced in real time. But what I will say is that it fits the whole energy of his era perfectly. This is Jimin in full bloom. Post-military, post-Busan concerts, post-festa, and he is showing up everywhere looking like he was put on this earth specifically to make people stop and stare. His airport outfit was already being discussed the moment it was captured. Because that's the thing about Jimin. Even when he's not technically at a fashion event, he is always making a fashion statement. The way he carries himself, the pieces he chooses, even the smallest details of his look, everything feels intentional. Everything feels considered. And when you're the global ambassador of one of the most prestigious luxury fashion houses in the world, you better believe every camera angle is going to be analyzed. Every detail is going to be dissected. And every look is going to be saved, shared, and talked about for weeks. Jimin knows this, and he delivers every single time without fail. Now let's talk about the context of this trip, because it's actually really important to understand just how significant this moment is. Paris Men's Fashion Week Spring-Summer 2027 officially ran from June 23 to June 28, 2026. This is one of the most important fashion calendars in the entire world, and this particular edition was already generating massive buzz even before it started. 74 labels were participating this season, a significant jump from the 66 that showed in January, with 36 runway shows and 38 presentations spread across 6 days. The names on the schedule were incredible. Louis Vuitton under Pharrell Williams opened the entire week on the evening of June 23rd. Saint Laurent returned to the official calendar. Michael Ryder was presenting his Celine menswear vision. Sarah Burton was showing her first dedicated Givenchy menswear collection. Grace Wales Bonner was debuting for Hermès. And in the middle of all of this historic creative energy, on June 24th, Jonathan Anderson was presenting his third collection for Dior. And Jimin was going to be there. Let that sink in for a second. This is not just any fashion show. This is Jonathan Anderson's third chapter for Dior Menswear. A creative director who has been consistently described as producing some of the most critically celebrated work of the entire Fashion Week season. A designer who has completely shifted the conversation around what Dior can be and what it should look like in 2026 and beyond. And Jimin, as Dior's global ambassador, was given his front row seat to witness it all live. That's not a coincidence. That's a statement. Dior does not invite just anyone to sit in their front row. They invite the people who embody the spirit of the house. And ParkJimin has been doing exactly that since he first became a Dior ambassador back in 2023. So let's get to Paris. The show took place on the morning of June 24th at the Musée Nissim de Commando. Now, if you don't know this museum, let me paint you a picture, because the location itself is absolutely stunning. Situated in the 8th arrondissement of Paris, the Musée Nissim de Commando is one of the most breathtaking and historically significant private museums in all of France. It was built in the early 20th century to resemble the Petit Trianon at Versailles, and it houses one of the finest collections of 18th century French decorative arts in existence. The grounds are lush, the architecture is classical and grand, and the gardens have this timeless, aristocratic quality that makes you feel like you've stepped into a different era entirely. It is, in every sense of the word, a spectacular setting for a fashion show. And Jonathan Anderson chose it deliberately, because nothing about what he does is accidental. The collection itself was described as a wardrobe of sampled and remixed classics. Anderson drew inspiration from British musician, DJ, and producer Fred Again, who provided the show's custom soundtrack, featuring original vocals by Christine and the Queens alongside tracks from artists like KTNA, Maeve Fraddy, and Jamie T. The inspiration translated into an extraordinary collection of looks: loosened-up tuxedos, some transformed into hybrid blousons, others crafted in ultralight fabrications printed to give the appearance of tailoring wool. There was shredded denim that felt like it came straight from a punk archive, shrunken ceremonial jackets that gave off this incredible energy of formality being playfully dismantled, metallic jeans and shorts that caught the morning light beautifully, and accessories that included colorful zigzag totes, bow ties, and what can only be described as disco ball boots. It was a collection that felt alive, energetic, unexpected, a bold conversation between heritage and modernity, between the classic and the completely contemporary. And D, sitting in the front row, watching all of this unfold in real time, was ParkJimin, the Dior global ambassador, the man who flew in from Seoul specifically to be there, who arrived with a fresh, new look, and who brought with him, as he always does, an entire wave of global attention that no fashion brand can manufacture or buy. Because that is the Jimin effect. It doesn't matter what the event is. It doesn't matter what the collection is about. The moment ParkJimin is in the building, the entire conversation shifts. The entire media landscape pivots. And everything he wears, everything he does, everything he says becomes part of the story. Now let's talk about what he wore to the actual show, because the outfit in question, the navy blue velvet jacket with the intricate gold and silver embroidery, paired with the green plaid shirt underneath, worn in the gorgeous outdoor garden setting of the museum, is already being discussed as one of his most iconic Dior looks to date. And honestly, it makes complete sense. The choice of navy velvet with ornate embroidery is such a perfect representation of what Jonathan Anderson has been building at Dior. This idea of taking something deeply formal and rooted in tradition, and making it feel entirely fresh and personal. Jimin wearing it in the lush green gardens of the Musée Nissim de Commando created this visual contrast that was just stunning. Old world opulence meeting modern K-pop royalty, tradition meeting a new generation. And Jimin, as always, made it look completely effortless. This is also worth noting in a broader context. We're talking about a year, 2026, that has already been absolutely massive for Jimin and for BTS as a whole. Think about everything that has happened just in the past few months. The Erarang album dropping in March and debuting at the top of charts worldwide. The world tour launching in Goyang. The North American legs selling out arenas and stadiums across 15 shows in 5 major cities. The BTS Festa 2026 running through the first 2 weeks of June. The Busan Asiad main stadium concerts on June 12th and 13th, BTS's first concerts in Busan since October 2022, and their first full group show since all 7 members completed military service. The Gwangali Beach drone show. The release of Come Over. The Merry-Go-Round Spotify exclusive music video. Run BTS, making its long-awaited return. All of that happened. And now, less than 2 weeks after those historic Busan concerts, Jimin is in Paris, sitting front row at Dior, wearing navy velvet and gold embroidery, looking like he owns the city. Because at this point, he kind of does. The reaction online has been, predictably, overwhelming. Army flooded social media from the moment Jimin's airport departure was confirmed. The hashtag started trending before he even landed in France. By the time photos and videos from the actual show started surfacing, Jimin in that stunning velvet Dior look, in the garden of one of Paris's most beautiful museums, looking like the main character of a luxury film nobody told us was being made, the internet had fully tipped over the edge. Fans from Indonesia, from the United States, from Brazil, from Japan, from Thailand, from the UK, from every corner of this planet were sharing and reposting and creating edits and expressing their absolute disbelief at how consistently, how effortlessly, how completely Jimin shows up. Every single time. Without fail. And that brings me to something I want to say directly to you, because I think it's important. If you are someone who has followed Jimin's journey, from his debut with BTS back in 2013, through the years of hard work and sacrifice, through the military service, through the comeback, through the world tour, moments like this one are not small. They are not just celebrity gossip or fashion week fluff. They represent something real. They represent a young man from Busan who dedicated his entire life to his craft, who trained relentlessly, who pushed himself harder than almost anyone in the industry, and who now sits in the front row of Dior in Paris, wearing a custom velvet jacket while the entire world watches. That is not nothing. That is everything. And we should celebrate it as such. Now, because this story is literally unfolding in real time as we speak, remember, the show happened today, June 24th, there are still details coming in. More photos, more videos, more moments from inside the event are continuing to surface. So if you want to stay completely up to date on everything Jimin at Dior SS27, this is what I need you to do right now. First, make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Set it to all notifications. Because the moment more content drops about this, we are going to be covering it, and you don't want to be the person who finds out 3 days late. Second, drop a comment below and tell me, what was your reaction when you first saw Jimin's look at Dior SS27 today? I want to hear from you. I want to know which detail hit you the hardest. Was it the new hair color? Was it the navy velvet jacket? Was it just the overall visual of him standing in those museum gardens, looking like he belongs in a Renaissance painting? Tell me everything. Because here's the truth. We talk a lot on this channel about the Jimin effect. We talk about his influence, his impact, his ability to make literally anything he touches become a cultural moment. And every time we think we've seen the peak of it, he somehow raises the bar again. This Dior SS27 appearance is the latest example. And it will not be the last. Paris Fashion Week is still ongoing. BTS's world tour continues. The Arirang era is in full swing. And ParkJimin is out here doing what he does, showing up, showing out, and reminding an entire planet why his name is spoken with a kind of reverence that very few artists in any generation ever achieve. So thank you for watching today. Thank you for being part of this channel and this community. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It genuinely helps more people find this content, and it helps us keep making it for you. Share this video with a fellow ARMY who needs to see this. And check out our other recent videos on everything happening in the Arirang era, because there is so much more to cover, and we are just getting started. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stream come over, and never forget, ParkJimin did not come this far to only come this far.